It started small as an effort to help Central Oregonians in need of healthy, quality food, but it has grown beyond initial expectations. The 1017 project started 9 years ago at the Shiloh Ranch Church in Powell Butte. It's now a separate nonprofit organization with local cattle ranchers doing what they do best.
These guys are anywhere from, I would say, probably 2 to 4 years old.
A wind-blown, snowy day on the high desert, lunchtime for the cattle.
From this spot down to that spot.
Holly McLean talks about how it all started, with friends asking themselves a simple question: how can we help? The answer was on the hoof in plain sight.
We may not know how to run a food bank in urban Bend or urban Portland, but we can raise the cattle that we can pass on to them. And we have a community here in rural Oregon that knows how to do that.
Called the 1017 Project, a biblical reference to sharing, it has grown dramatically.
2014, we donated about 4,000 pounds of hamburger. In 2021, it's 150,000 pounds of hamburger. So that does feel good.
And those good feelings now extend far beyond Powell Butte.
We have about 45 food banks throughout Central Oregon, from Mitchell to Sisters and Warm Springs to Christmas Valley. We just rotate through those food banks, whoever needs beef at that time. We sent 40,000 pounds of hamburger to the Oregon Food Bank in Portland this year. That was the first time we've ever been able to do that, and they've distributed that beef all over the state.
Food banks pay a handling or processing fee, $1.50 a pound, for high-quality beef, says McLean. Good protein.
It's lean on par with salmon or turkey. We grind the entire cow into hamburger, including the T-bone steaks, which you and I can't even buy that hamburger at Whole Foods. It doesn't exist.
Keeping it simple is important.
We do everything in 1 pound packages, unless if a soup kitchen is maybe cooking for people, they can get it in 5 pound packages, like Bethlehem Inn takes theirs in 5 pound packages.
And sadly, over the last year, they found as much as they can package and distribute, it's still not enough.
The food banks are calling us, every single month. They used to maybe call us every couple of months and say, hey, we could use some more beef, but now we'll take as much as you can give us.
Cattle ranching isn't cheap, of course, and this project costs about $500,000 a year to run. Most of that money comes from corporate sponsors, from grants, from individual donations. But the cattle actually chip in too. Here's how it works. Most of the herd, maintained at about 50 head, comes from south of the border.
We buy our cattle a lot of times out of Mexico because that's the breed that works for this program.
It is a breed perfect for team roping, and their human handlers rent them out to rodeos and other competitions.
So sometimes we've had big contracts. There's even local rodeos around here, or local ranchers that want to just lease 6 or 8 cows for the summertime to have for practicing on their own ranch.
So the cattle do help just a little with cutting production costs. And when they're done with all that roping, well, they keep giving.
And then when the cattle are too big to team rope, or too slow, or too fast sometimes, they're in the best shape of their life for the butcher.
That final measure helping the organization expand beyond Oregon.
In the last year, we processed 50,000 pounds of beef in Texas from our cattle that were down there working. Serviced about 16 food banks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We've also got some beef into some food banks in Montana this year, and we're working on Arizona, which is a place that our cattle tend to go in the winter.
A simple question, a nudge from Corinthians, and an ongoing answer: lean beef in lean times.
We try and make all the pieces work towards the end goal, which is more beef in the food banks and us being able to fill more orders.
The nonprofit leases land and leases a team roping arena where they hold events from the Shiloh Ranch Church, which is still their biggest sponsor. They are glad to take donations of hay, cattle, cash, of course, and they wouldn't mind an extra corporate sponsor or two. If you want to help or just learn more about the 1017 project, you can check this story at centraloregondaily.com. You'll find a link there.